What is up? It's a beautiful day here in Texas. What we've got here is basically a Radian Model One. It's a Radian Model One complete upper. It's a Radian lower. A lot of these parts are off of that you would use on a Model One that's on the production gun, but I did build this lower. I've changed it up a little bit. I went with the V7 lithium aluminum buffer tube, which I absolutely love, and a few other tweaks. But for all practical purposes, we could say this is pretty much a Radian Model One. So what we're gonna do, we've never shot this gun. I'm gonna set it up, lube it, go shoot it, and we'll do some shooting impressions. Let's do it. So what I'm gonna do is just put some of this weapon shield, put it down in these holes on the lugs. I kind of tend to subscribe to the break them in wet school. A little bit on this charging handle. That's about how I'm gonna run it. This is what I'm gonna use to get the basic 0 on this red dot. I mean, that's not bad. And it's hot. It's so bright that red dot basically is taking up this whole area. So overall, that's pretty good. So here's kind of the adjustment, and I mean, I think we're good. I think we are good. All right, so Radian Model One, let's go over some of my initial thoughts after shooting this thing. It's incredibly smooth. I'll tell you, it's not a light weapon by any means. I mean, if you're looking at the scale of, you know, really lightweight ARs, this probably ain't gonna register on that scale. It's got a little bit of girth, you know, it kind of reminds me of like an Noveske Afghan possibly. You know, this thing does have a 14.5-inch barrel. But, you know, it's incredibly well balanced. It's incredibly smooth. I put a Timney trigger in this gun, and it's my first real experience with a Timney, and I've been very impressed so far. It's incredibly incredibly crisp. So thumbs up to that. I mean, normally I'm 100% a Geisley guy. I love the SSA, the SSA enhanced, all the super dynamic triggers. I mean, I have great luck with all those. I've killed a lot of animals with those. This buffer tube system, this is how I differed when I built this compared to the Radian Model One, where I went with the V7 lithium aluminum buffer tube. I went with a Geisley H2 buffer, and it's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. I mean, you cannot feel any kind of cycling in here. It's just about as smooth as you're gonna get. You know, I'm a big fan of that Geisley system. I'm a big fan of the V7 system. I mean, the V7 buffer spring and everything, and the buffer itself, in addition to the tube, is very, very smooth also. But this Geisley is just really off the hook. It's tremendous. You know, I think the other thing about this is I haven't had a lot of experience with these taller mounts. I mean, you talk about just bringing that gun up and it just is perfect. It's really, really nice. This is actually the green dot version of the MRO, and I think they're roughly the same price. After running through this a little bit, I don't know if I have a big preference between the red dot and the green dot. One thing I have not tried, this is night vision compatible. I really don't use nods a lot out here. I'm usually using a thermal, but I bet that this would work a little better with night vision having that green dot, but we will have to check on that. One thing I really like about this weapon is how I set up the sling. And this is a Magpul sling. What I did on the QD mount up here on the front is I went with this rail mounted Magpul, and I really like this. It's just solid. It's easy to get to. You know, some hand guards, I could have got one that mounted here in the M-lock on the hand guard, but I really prefer this. And the thing that I really love about this Magpul sling is, you know, I can take this out, and there's other slings that are like this too. And you know, now I've got basically a single point sling. You know, the other thing is, like, if I'm walking around a lot, I might not want to have that mounted there. I might want to put it over here on this back side of the gun, on the other side of the stock. And that's just going to be a little more comfortable, you know, when I'm walking around hunting and stuff like that. So I've really kind of become a fan of this Magpul sling and this mount. Really cool. Here's kind of a closer look of this sling mount. This is the Magpul, and as you can see, it mounts right on top, right on the rail up there, and it's just super, super solid. I really like it a lot. Overall, I mean, this is just a great weapon. I mean, again, it's not very cheap, right? I mean, I forget how much this upper alone was, but this upper alone is enough where you can buy you a pretty good AR. But you match this with this 8-ax system of this Radian lower. You put a Timney trigger in here. Hard to beat, man. Hard to beat.